Welcome everyone to my first video into my journey on the Demon Conquest. My goal is to try to beat all demons in order from oldest to newest. While doing so, I will be rating them and giving my sincere opinion on it. So in the end, I can decide which is the best and worst level in the entire game. Let's go ahead and start. Before I start, I must get some things clear so you understand what's to come. The rating system will be completely subjective, so it will be my opinion and my opinion only, even though it's the right opinion. The way I will rate the levels is just going to be how it looks for the time, how it plays, and how influential was to the game and to me. Also, I will rate them on how I played them now. Meaning, even though the level was made 10 years ago, I will appreciate that, but I will also be harsh on them since they will be probably not that good. I always liked older levels, so I have already beaten some of them already. Some I have low quality recordings of the levels since I beat them back in 2022, and others I had to rebeat to make this video, since my goal is to have a full recording of the level. So for about the first 40 levels, I will be speed showcasing them just because I already had my journey with them a long time ago. This journey starts in the 1.2 update. The demon difficulty didn't even exist yet and the game was in a very early state, only being 2 months old. There were only 3 game modes, being the ball, the ship and the cube. And apart from the game modes, the only orb that existed was the yellow orb and the yellow pad. Some other notable features were the gravity and mirror portals, and very few blocks and decoration. So it's fair to say that the game back then was way more simple than it is today, and all the levels had less to work with, meaning that most of them looked very similar to each other. Apart from that, Geometry Dash was at a point in its life where nobody knew what they were doing and just letting their imagination run wild. Combined with the fact that back then standards still weren't a thing, some levels aged really poorly, not to say that they were what I categorize as trash. But this was the foundation of Geometry Dash. Without these levels, Geometry Dash wouldn't have become what it is today, and it's fair to say that some of the levels were actually well done for the time and pushed the game further. Enough with the update and let's get right into the levels. Many of you might already know this level, the first demon in the game, the reason why the demon rating was invented and one of the first top 1 in difficulty of the game. It's funny to see how everything has changed since this level was created. The level is not half bad for the time it was made, especially since there is some hot garbage out there, but Demon Park does a good job on relaying its difficulty. Deco wise, there isn't much to say since there was little to no deco back then, even though this level actually tries to look good and makes it possible. Anyway, I will mainly focus on gameplay and the impact the level had on me and the community. And this level marked the beginning of a trend in Geometry Dash, trying to push the difficulty to its limits, and created the demon category, which is a fan favorite feature of the game. What the heck, it's the reason I want to beat all of them. Now, the level is not the best ever created, but it marked the beginning of some crazy things in the game. So I'm going to rate this level an 8 out of 10, just for the fact that it was so important for the game and was one of my first demons I beat as a kid. And just from the fact that this level actually tries to be a good level. It has good gameplay, tries to be original in decoration, and it actually stands out as one of the first demons ever created. And it's better than most first demons ever created. Yay! Let's go! Woohoo! As I said, I know the quality is bad, but I recorded this level back in 2020 when I had a shitty laptop, so sorry about that. Now, as for the level, it came right after Demon Park and was marked as the second demon in the game. It was made by Darnek, which is a very early and famous creator of the game, probably being one of the first few players to have the game. The level itself isn't anything remarkable, had some triple spikes here and there and some memory parts. It didn't feel too special or that it had anything going for it, except for maybe trying to be hard. I feel like Demon Park was way more cherished and had more going for it, and to me this level just comes out as planned. Historic, nonetheless. 5.5 out of 10. This is the most popular demon in the game as of now, and was my first ever demon when I beat it back in 2016. It now has around 120 million downloads and 5 million likes. Truly incredible for a level. First things first, the level was made in 1.2, but it got updated a couple months later, adding stuff from later updates, such as the blue orb and for some reason the pink orb as well. This is common from levels to update the level later on and adding features from later updates, while still retaining the same level ID, so take that into account. The level itself isn't bad and actually tries to have some decoration and little gimmicks, which now they seem kind of whack, but back then this was pretty cool. But the reason I think this is the most downloaded demon in Geometry Dash is simply because it's incredibly easy. I've seen 4 stars harder than this demon. And it just goes to show how wacky the rating system was back then and how much the skill ceiling has improved. 6 out of 10, and it only took me 2 attempts to rebeat. Incredible. And another super famous level with millions of downloads and likes, and this time I believe that it's even easier than the Nightmare. It doesn't have a single triple spikes and all of the things are sight readable. I don't really know how Rubub was rating these demons back then. Again, for some reason, this level also has later features but not as many as the Nightmare, only having the blue orb and pad. Gameplay wise, there isn't much mystery, some easy fakes and sometimes weird patterns. There is especially a ball part where the timing to the pad is the only hard part in the level, and I don't think it was made on purpose. The deco is very weird, but I do like what the creator tries to innovate by using weird objects to make shapes or somewhat of a background. But some parts look atrocious, and it just seems like the creator got lazy and tired and half-assed the level. 5 out of 10, and also took me only 2 attempts to rebeat. nice. Very nice. The first medium demon ever created, and wouldn't you know, this level is inspired by the level Demon Park, also being a former top 1. Here we can start to see memory being taken to another level. Older levels were difficult, mainly for the insane memory you had to have knowing all the fakes instead of having raw difficulty. So we are going to see a lot of this memory in many levels coming up. Thank God I had a recording of this level because it's a pain to remember all these fakes. They're actually very clever but very annoying to fall for. Deco wise, there isn't much there. A bit of structuring but nothing really going for it. Kind of annoying but not horrible. 5.8 out of 10. Here we can see another old memory based level. As I said before, the older demons were difficult based on memorization, remembering all the fakes there are and a little bit of timings. And Jax had some questionable creativity, gameplay wise and deco wise. In this level, gameplay wise, I feel like these memory levels get annoying with all the fakes or pick a path gameplay, but it's what they had going for them back then, when the game wasn't even a year old. Deco wise, Jax is also very weird. It did look like he tried, but it just doesn't really fit together too well, so no points there. Also, for some reason the level looks like it was made in 1.2, but out of nowhere gets 1.4 features such as the blue pads and orbs and the mini and big portals, which will be very inflation later on. 5 out of 10. And here we have it. These were all the demons made in the 1.2 update. And by the time these levels were made, the demon difficulty wasn't even a thing. Even though these levels weren't just like any other levels. These levels were demons. It's incredible to see how far we have come since these levels were created, and how the game by itself has changed over the years with its community. Truly incredible stuff, and I can't wait to see what gems I find through the next levels. Thank you so much for watching, hope you've enjoyed a little bit of history, and see you next time in the 1.3 update.